Hey, y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Pharaoh, the God, always on the job. I got five. Let's talk. As always, it's real talk, raw talk. And y'all know it's that time again to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend. Share, like, subscribe. Don't hide. Them buttons ain't got no teeth. So go ahead and reach. Support the channel, support your boy, and above all, man, support the movement. Welcome to another episode of I Got Five Let's Talk, the podcast show where we keep it real and fair like a California bear, and we don't do no hating because we ain't California raisins. Today's topic: Charlie Kirk, Trump versus the Zionist State. What will be the outcome? What will be the outcome? At this time, I want everybody uh, to hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Um, Strap your seatbelt. It's finna be a ride. I might get banned for this one. I might get a strike for this one. But I'm gonna put the pieces together like I always put the pieces together, man. You know, we keep it fair. So y'all know what it is. Shots fired, man. Shots is motherfucking fired. But they've been fired. Uh Dealing with what we know, Charlie Kirk has been shot, killed, assassinated, however you want to put it. He's been unalived by some type of propagandist group. Before we rant, and rave, before we get to throwing shit around, let's deal with the politics of the Zionists and some just Jews of America. Excuse me. When the war when the war first jumped off, we seen people UCLA, USC campus protesting. And they were peacefully protesting too. It wasn't like, you could compare the George Floyd protests to the Gaza protests. Two different protests. Wasn't nobody breaking into nothing. Wasn't nobody, they was assembling quite peaceful. Quite peaceful. But right here in South Los Angeles, once the Palestinians and those that were out to protest for the Palestinian people being persecuted and maimed and killed in Palestine, on the second or third day, you had Jewish counter protesters. You had people coming out there that was protesting against the people that was in school, protesting against what they was doing or who they was funding. These are grown men that have jobs, might be spies, Mossad agents, and they didn't come with banners, flyers. They didn't come with Israel is right. They came with violence. They came with 2x4s. They came with bear mace, sticks, poles, tasers, knives, and we watched it unfold on the news. Every day we watch the students of USC be brutally attacked every night by Jewish protesters, and none of them were arrested. Not one news report was reporting that these people were being violated. Their rights were being violated by USC security. These were Jewish non-students that supported the Zionist State of Israel. They supported that. These are facts. And like I say, before we get into the entanglement of the conversation, we gonna deal with facts. Jews always like to say we're peaceful, we're this, the Holocaust that. But where was the news coverage when these Jewish protesters was violently and racistly, systematically beating the shit out of the Palestinian people, or just those that were there to support the Palestinian state? Another good fact: Jews are the new Nazis. Yes, I said it. Jews are the new Nazis. Have you ever asked yourself where the word Nazi comes from? Have you really asked yourself or did some research on where the word Nazi comes from? It's not a coincidence that those that call themselves Jews are Ashkenazi Jews. They're Khazars. But in order to be Jewish, they are what kind of Jewish? They are Ashkenazi. Yes, Nazi Jews. You gotta flick two of them lighters together to make it work. That's how I did it the other day. I gotta buy me some new lighters. But they are Ashkenazi Jews. So anything of the word Nazi, who gave them that word? The Jews? Those that call themselves Jews? The Ashkenazi Jews? It's terrible how they play in your face, but you don't see it. These are not lies. These are fun facts for people to actually register, get it in their brain like they name. We do know that Israel, the Zionist State of Israel, offered Charlie Kirk $150 million in cash to speak good about Israel. You know how much $150 million in cash is? That's almost a $1 billion. In cash, it's $1 billion. Or at least a half a bill ticket. A motherfucker that tell you they got $500 million is a motherfucking lie. They got stocks and bonds. They own businesses. They portfolio is accumulated to $1 billion. Kanye West is a $2 billionaire, right? He doesn't have $2 billion in his bank account. He has stocks and bonds. How is Kanye West able to go bankrupt? And then as soon as he starts doing the humiliation shit, he's another billionaire. Who's giving him this money? Where is this money coming from?
Kanye better send me my motherfucking shoes.
It's the same thing with Charlie Kirk. They offered Charlie Kirk $150 million to speak bad on Israel. Why? If Israel's such a good state, why does Israel, and if Israel's doing the right thing, why is Israel offering $150 million to a podcaster? To a podcaster. Also, tell me if he denied the $150 million, why was Israel bent on asking him to come to Israel? They was gonna lock him up. The Zionist State of Israel was gonna lock Charlie Kirk up due to the so-called anti-Semitic rhetoric that he was spewing out of his mouth. They was gonna lock his ass up in Israel. And this is how I know. Because it's other countries that put out international warrants of arrest for people. They did it to Bill Clinton. They did it to George Bush. These people become international criminals because they did something against the state. Look what Russia did to the female that donated to a group that was supposedly trying to help feed victims of Ukraine. When she went back to Russia, Russia locked her ass up for supporting the enemy. So if Charlie Kirk is half Jewish and he was speaking bad against the Zionist Jewish state, what you think they was gonna do to Charlie once he got back on land in Israel? What was they gonna do to that boy? You think they was gonna sit down and have dinner with him and tell him, "Oh yeah, good job, son. Keep doing what you doing"? Nah, nigga. Nah, Those are Bob. We are not going off assumptions here. We are going off of facts. And I had to do it like this today because they'll wipe your YouTube clean speaking bad about the people. The devil trying to work. How many times my channel got snatched for speaking about them Jews, them Yahudis? Nigga, they took my page for a year.
Stop playing with them today.
No, I'm not playing with them. Fuck them. That's what they do. Let's hear some of this. Run some of this content.
Afield all of my political lifetime. You assassinated almost you, Israel, have been assassinating people all over the world, in Europe, in the Middle East, and further afield, all of my political lifetime. You assassinated almost half of the government of Yemen just 10 days ago. You don't get to say that it's anti-Semitic to suspect you might have had a hand in assassinating Charlie Kirk when you told us to marvel at your percipience and at your ingenuity, your engineering skills, and your patience when you waited years to explode every pager in Lebanon, man, woman, and child you scrubbed or caused to be scrubbed.
Yeah, this is what Israel do.
Who was in charge of the CDC that was controlling and telling our government to shut down small businesses and what they recommend for the mandates, the vaccine and Pfizer and all? At the time when COVID was being enacted, I'm going to read off the staff of who was in charge of this CDC. The director of the CDC was Rochelle Walensky, dual citizenship with Israel. She's a Jew. Deputy director of the CDC, Ann Schwouch, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief of staff, Sherry Berger, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief medical officer, Mitchell Wolf, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC director of the Washington office. This is pertinent to the topic. We're talking about COVID, right? Yeah. This is pertinent to COVID. So I love you, Jennifer. Yeah, please. So, director of the CDC of the Washington office, Jeff Resnick, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID czar, Jeff Bates, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID senior advisor, Andy Slavitt, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Assistant of Health Secretary for Human Services for our country, the Assistant of Health Secretary, Rachel Levine, transgender, dual citizenship of Israel, S2.
I ask that you hold off, Christopher.
Ma'am, I'm almost done. Sir, the chair has ruled that your comments are out of order. She's asked you to stop.
Comments are out of order. For what? It's the truth. It's the truth. The CDC is all headed by Jews that have dual citizenship. How do you have a dual citizenship with a country that's been politically raping your country, one of your countries, all your life? You explain to me why Jeffrey Epstein has a painting of Bill Clinton in the dress Monica Lewinsky wore that he left his jizz on. Explain that to me. Explain why in Epstein's house he had a painting of George Bush playing with two paper planes with two knocked down buildings. Explain that to me. Is that coincidence or just good art? These Jews are damaging the fabric of America. Whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to say what I'm saying is anti-Semitic or not, first you have to be Semitic to be anti-against. You have to be a Semite. The Jews could not trace their history to being Semites. That's another fun fact. So all this rhetoric of anti-Semitic behavior is coming from where? Not from Nigeria, not from the Igbo people, not from the original Jews. Michael Jackson, another fun fact. He was going to buy Marvel. He was going to buy Marvel. And what happened? He got hit with pedophile allegations. Why? Why would Mike be hit with pedophile conversations?
I think about a plan to buy Marvel, the comic business, back in 2001 or 2, I think it was. Let's listen to this.
We could easily go into Universal and buy. We would own Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters, all the classics from Universal. Own all that stuff that will allow us to do a channel. Part of the Marvel channel can be not only the Marvel characters, but Marvel films like the catalog. We could do anything we want, from restaurants to retail, theme parks.
Now, you actually got the financing in place, I believe, for this deal. Then came the scandal court cases, and it all got put on the back burner. Disney ended up buying Marvel and doing exactly what Michael had predicted and making a fortune at it. Tell me about this.
That was the second part.
I think about a plan to buy Marvel, the comic business, back in.
Yeah. You think that's a coincidence that Michael Jackson, who owned the Beatles, who owned Elvis Presley, who owned half of Sony, now he's finna go buy something from Universal, another Jewish company, buy Marvel, buy Jaws, Close Encounters, all of that, had the money in place, and then what happened? He got hit with what? Allegations? Is that a coincidence or a systematic targeting? This is how the Jews play. This is just how they play. They've been shadow banning this since we've been on live right now. But that's what goes on. That's how strong these people are. Once you get to, if they put out the rhetoric long enough that the Jews don't do shit, you gonna believe that the Jews don't do shit. But how in the fuck in Mexico, the Jewish population is known for fleeing pedophiles, wanted men. And then they just come up with a Jewish president for Mexico. Something is not right here. Something is just not right. How does Mexico have a Jewish president? Out of all their years in existence, they ain't even had a dark-skinned Mexican president yet. They ain't even had a female Mexican president yet. But yet they got a Jewish, a first-time Jewish, and a first-time female president of Mexico. Get the fuck out of here. Something does not smell right. Who created the first hospital and clinical surgeries for people to become transgender? The Ashkenazi Jews. The founder of Zionism. The founder of Zionism was a homosexual, a queer. He was so much of a blatant homosexual, he was convincing others to go underneath to do surgery to become something that they're not, instead of him doing it himself. Who is pushing the gay agenda and transgender agenda in America? The Jews. One of the presidents that they want you to accept so wholeheartedly is the French president. Who is his husband? His husband is pretending to be a male. Candace O has been told us about that. But you might say, what does this have to do with Charlie Kirk? What does Michael Jackson have to do with Charlie Kirk? What does Kanye have to do with Charlie Kirk? What does TMZ have to do with Charlie Kirk? Now that I'm saying it, you're getting the picture. The Zionist regime. Those that support Benjamin Netanyahu and his cronies. That's what this has to do with Charlie Kirk. He was outspoken against transgenderism. He was outspoken about obesity. He was outspoken about violence. He was outspoken on his racist outlook on black culture. This we know. Am I supposed to be feeling sorry because Charlie Kirk died? Fuck no. Did you see the shit he said about Trayvon Martin? He said that Trayvon Martin was stalking George Zimmerman. He was following George Zimmerman home. That's why Trayvon Martin was killed. What? Yes. He said the death of George Floyd had nothing to do with race. What? Yes. But the white police officer put his knee on George's neck for over 9 minutes. Must we forget here that George Floyd and the officer used to work at the same bar together, and the white officer used to always be on bunk. And if y'all don't know what bunk means, that means always fucking with people, always starting shit. And it was George Floyd that had to always intervene and calm everything down. And the bar where they worked at, the person who hired them also said that the police officer was racist. And he didn't like George Floyd. So for Charlie Kirk to come out with his platform and to say that race did not play a part in George Floyd being killed, you are pushing an agenda. What agenda is that, Pharaoh? That black people bring a lot of violence on themselves. But when a white man is placed in the same predicament, he is not treated the same way. And people may say, well, it's white people that feel like that. 90% of the slave trade was done by who? Jews. The Ashkenazi Jews. This is the common thread that everything that I just spoke about, the common thread that brings them all and ties them all together is the Zionist State of Israel, the Zionist regime. You can't turn on your TV now without seeing black homosexuality. When the last time you seen a black person, nigga, turns trans? Oh, you haven't. But then they put it on TV all the time, like this is something that goes on in the black community on a consistent basis. They would rather put a transgender on TV before they put the black family, the black male and female family on TV. And who runs the television and the media? The Jews. But why would Charlie Kirk, why would the Jewish state want to kill Charlie Kirk? Because Charlie came out and said that what I was saying from the day it happened. October 7th was a ruse. Benjamin Netanyahu and the Zionist state had something to do with October 7th happening. Why do I say that? The 5 dancing Israelis in America on 9/11. The FBI report that there was Mossad M5 Jewish groups in America spying and conspiring to do and plan out something big. Also, that the Jewish state had the power to carry out attacks on American soil and make them look like an Arab nation did it. Them 5 dancing Israelis were locked up, tested, and found positive for explosives. All 5 of the Israelis gave up different reasons why they were there and why they were dancing. Also, it came back and they said that they had just pulled up, but the van shows that it was there overnight. Same van you left in. You need to wake up, America. You need to wake up. These things are not just happening. If my son goes to school and he gets kicked out, and he goes to another school and gets kicked out, then goes to another school and gets kicked out, and I start telling you that the school just be picking on my son, you're going to say your son got a problem. Your son is going to another school where nobody knows him, and he's having the same issues. Your son has a mental condition, whether it be severe or not so severe. But the school is not going to be the problem. It's going to be the child. Can we say the same about Israel? Israel has been kicked out of over 3,000 to 300,000 places on earth from now until before Christ. When do you say those that call themselves Jews are the problem on earth? In the Quran, it says those that would have the most enmity against you will be the Yahudi. The Yahudi is in translation of those that call themselves Jews. It's a Jewish word, but it doesn't stick to those who are Jewish. It is referring to those that call themselves Jews because they are not real Jews. So if you have been kicked out of from 3 to 300,000 places on earth, when do you say it is not the school or the place, it is the person? Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel has received the most positive and the most since September 11 happened. Because now America has been forced to come into a world and a war that they've been fighting. Basically, they made them get into a war that they started by taking shit. This is the common thread. This is what the Jewish Zionist State of Israel has to do with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was the mouthpiece for Trump. He said that he was banking his career to get J.D. Vance elected as president once Trump is over. He had the biggest political youth organization in America. Also, what Charlie Kirk was doing, he was exposing America. People love to call Donald Trump racist, but Donald Trump wasn't saying the things like Charlie Kirk was. Oh, black people, even if they had fathers in their house, they would still be managed. Like, what the fuck? So if Charlie Kirk is right about black fathers being absent in black homes, and that's the reason why the black community is in shambles the way it is, then the Caucasian community is in shambles the way it is because the white male is there and they don't interact with their children. Esmeralda, it's in here again. Children killing their parents. Parents giving the children false insight of having their own private space. The fuck is that about? They have no interaction with their children. So if the black father is bad for not being there, the white Caucasian father is worse off when he's there and not breeding his child the way he should breed him. These motherfuckers is turning out ruling the world with an iron fist. They have a mental problem. How does Israel get attacked on October 7th when they have what you call an Iron Dome? Any missile that goes up, they have the Iron Dome that's going to go up and shoot it. How do you allow a bunch of poor-ass Palestinians, right? Because this is what they say about them. This is the outlook that they want you to have of Palestine. How do you have a bunch of broke Palestinians on bicycles turned into with propellers on them that fly into your country and you don't know nothing about it until after it starts happening? Nobody radioed in. No military rushed to the spot. Sounds like bullshit to me. Sounds like cow shit to me because it ain't strong enough to be bullshit. Yes, what Charlie Kirk said on a lot of subjects. Yes, America for Americans. I'm down for that. But I'm going to point out when a nigga is wrong also. I would never say that somebody deserves to be killed. But saying the shit that he was saying, somebody around him told him it was cool not to move around with security. Somebody hired a precise hitman that shot him right in the neck and it didn't come out. That was a high-powered weapon. What happened? Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. Now that the American constituents are waking up, they're losing control of their of the political pawns. America needs to wake up, y'all. Because if they don't, shit gonna get heavy. Shit gonna get heavy. Y'all know what it is.